asked her that when I talked to her. So
Yeah,
I called her, I said, hey, I'm out of town, humping it back. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it. You might be running the show.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it. I said, okay, well, that answers that real quick. I'm gonna run
You
home,
want
change
you
clothes,
to-
here I am.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'd like to call this meeting of the Hendersonville Public Safety Committee to order on this day, May the 11th, at 6:01 PM in the evening. We have two items on our agenda, which is discussing sirens, weather sirens, tornado sirens, and also code red. Do we have anything else we'd like to add to the agenda?
I don't have anything.
Okay, I don't need it this time. So without further, we have approval of the agenda,
Oh,
acceptance and approval of that agenda.
I'll make a motion.
All right, I'll second that. We'll vote. Yes,
Yes.
and it's passed unanimously. All right. First item on the agenda is tornado sirens, and I understand the fire department will give us a little update, I hope, on that, on where we're at on.
No.
Okay, well, that's fine.
Well, as I told Mr. Roth earlier, Chief Bush, I talked to him this morning. He said he had sent information to the powers that be. And I was
Okay.
assuming it was you two gentlemen
And
and
the
the
committee,
mayor.
yeah, I just haven't had a chance to even open it up today, but anyways.
Russ, are you working on your affairs?
No, I'm taking notes.
Okay.
I'm the secretary. So,
Okay, well, let's talk about sirens for a moment. I know that a lot of people still like the older technology. Alderman Petrella made it.
How are you?
We're just opening the meeting and just getting started. We're just talking about tornado sirens.
There's
I
a
know that it's near and dear to
little
your
bit
heart.
of traffic in town.
I hear you. Now it's all over. Start off and cook one head this way, you're in traffic. That's why I was always. Anyways, we've started discussing sirens and
great.
we have, like I was saying, I have several people who've asked about sirens as well as code red. I explained to them about code red. I think the two go hand in hand, you know. I explained to people we've had the sirens in the past, back in the 70s and early 80s. When exactly did we do away with those sirens? We wouldn't know. They were more civil defense than they were tornado sirens. And so, yeah, I'm gonna say we used to test them on Saturday, I think the second Saturday of the month around 10 o'clock in the morning, set them off for 2 minutes or a minute or whatever it was. But anyways, Ms. Petrelli, do you have anything you'd like to add to the tornado siren discussion? Because I know that was near and dear to your heart. You're the one who requested that, man.
Yes, so I feel like we're kind of in a time warp because we started this discussion 14 months ago. But where we left it was police and fire. They were going to kind of group together some information historically and then also on potential cost. How, if we couldn't do a siren per ward, if we had to financially do it 2 to 3 sirens every other year, where the most advantageous locations, and the different type of systems, because I know you're a vendor.
No.
I'm sorry. You're Jesse.
Jesse.
Hey, I'm sorry.
He's flying on the radar right
How
now.
are you? Nice to meet you.
yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'm
Welcome to the show.
It's been a long day. Well, I know last year when the newspaper picked up the article, we got contacted by a lot of vendors, and I did. And I think Chief Bush did too. Police might have been.
We were not. I think we had one call and I forwarded them to the fire department because I know
Okay.
Chief
Yeah,
Bush, Chief Hulse were primarily the ones looking at that.
sure.
7 or 8 years ago, they looked into this and Mayor Foster was mayor then,
Mhm.
and he was just adamantly opposed to them, and that's why he go forward, and it was based on the cost. And so I don't remember what the cost is to you, but it was fairly extensive.
I think one of the biggest concerns too is because of the fact that so many people have cell phones now. And with the way houses are constructed compared to the way they were constructed 30 years ago, if somebody's in their house with a TV on or the air conditioner on, they're not going to hear the siren anyway unless they're within a few block radius. I think it was part of the concern because obviously the construction techniques and insulation they use now, houses are much more soundproof than they were 30, 40 years ago here in Hendersonville. And, really back that long ago, a lot of people didn't have central air. You may have had
Yeah.
a
box
windy
unit,
unit or
yeah.
something like that, but, a lot of people had kept their windows open. And it made it easier to hear those as opposed to now, where I think it's just harder for people to hear when they're in their homes. To most everybody, I mean, if you look around, of course, that's why we've talked about that, distracted driving due to these things.
Yeah.
People have their cell phones with them.
All the time.
Well, I know with the recent storms, there,
Get this corner up.
with, the recent storms, there were some people that were upset that they gotta, or not, it wasn't the storms, it was 3 to 6 was shut down.
Oh,
And
yeah.
some folks have calls at 3 a.m, people were upset about that, so to me, it's about added layers of protection. I know for our peninsula, which is Ward 1 and Ward 2, on the night of the, which was what, March 2nd, you know, storms were coming through. Folks take the storms here seriously, Jesse, because it's not a joke anymore. Like as a child,
Yeah.
we didn't have that many tornadoes, but
But now we do.
now we do. We're like a valley, but the code reds that we were getting, and we discussed it last year about the plume zone. And like you got it,
Mhm.
but I live.
Yeah, I
two-
did.
I
Yeah.
live 2 miles from Pat
We're
and
not
I
even
didn't
there.
get it. Yeah, because I was out of the.
If
plume
you're
zone.
in a plume zone, yeah, you might have been a half a mile.
Yeah,
You know.
and literally where that plume went, I have a picture of it. It literally hit my neighbor's house 4 houses down, but then I didn't get it. So, you know, my husband stepped out on the deck and he could hear the sirens from Davidson County. So it concerns me that, you know, I'm getting it across the lake. You know, my neighbor 4 houses down, you know, maybe I should be prepared. So I know on our peninsula, it created a lot of confusion because, you know, fortunately or unfortunately, went down the Mount Juliet side, but folks were
Debris
concerned.
flew into wards 1 and 2
That's
across the
right.
lake.
Our parks took a lot of debris. So to me, it's about an added layer of protection. I mean, it's just like beefing up our police and fire. You know, you guys have a hazmat unit. How often do you need the hazmat unit? But we're prepared. You guys just had training. You guys have the big vehicles for riots, whatever. How often do you need that? Barely ever. So to me, it's an added layer of protection. And if it gives citizens peace of mind, you know, I think it's not just for making people feel good, but also being prepared. And I know in our peninsula, which are the younger houses, you know, we can hear it. 'Cause, you know,
Sure, I hear him from Old Hickory.
yeah, that's how and I know Arlene said that she heard it from Davidson County.
Yeah, well, we had Goodlettsville.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was actually out running. In the Goodlettsville, and I booked it back. I didn't beat the storm back that Monday morning 8 days ago, but yeah, I heard it. I heard them from Goodlettsville.
Yeah,
I just wonder if we should do kind of a study to see how much that would cost.
that's that's where we were at last year.
I would think so, and I'm thinking maybe if we like split wards, like 1 and 2, like somewhere on our peninsula out there, like Lakeside Park Hill, maybe.
Yeah.
Because it's up high, when
Yeah.
you know, it would go across the lake, Drakes Creek, and hit the other side of Ward 2 on the other peninsula. And then maybe up there in Massacre Farms there, I don't know, Free Hill Road area would be a good place to put one right there. You know,
Right.
because then you'd get wards 3 and 6
Yeah,
opposite side, then
yeah, that would be a lot of work.
that's what I'm saying, that
Yeah.
the Free Hill Road area is what I was thinking, 'cause you're up on your high,
Right.
and, you know, if you turn that thing toward Massacre Farms, it should get everybody's attention over there,
Yeah.
because they're pretty loud, and then,
And, you know, I'm interested to see what both of y'all's departments come up with, especially with not only what are the costs, but, you know, the viability locations, you know, we got flooded with vendor calls. I did last year and I stopped after 3 because, you know, while I do want to have knowledge and understanding, I don't want to get I don't want information from vendors. I want to be able to we go to a vendor.
yeah, I get information from vendors too, so you can, hey, we got this, I'm like, oh, wrong person, you talk to this one
Yeah.
person, no,
Yeah, so
they'll
you.
bring it to us.
So we're getting contacted again, so it's gonna get redirected back to you guys. And who in your department should we direct it to?
Larry Daniel.
Commander Dan.
Mayor Chief Bush, I wanted to give you information. Chief Bush said that he had sent something to the powers that be.
He did,
So
I remember
I
reading
was
some of
just
it, yes.
assuming that you were probably one of them, since you're public safety.
Yes,
A
I believe
year
she
ago?
was, no, just
No.
recently, he said
Oh,
something
that-
just
oh,
recently.
Last night or
Okay.
this morning.
Yeah.
I talked to him this morning before that.
Okay, I appreciate him sending that. So Commander Daniels,
But yeah, I think I sort of like the idea of sharing wards, maybe, splitting it across, landing out across the city, and instead of being layered on top of each other for, 6 units for 6 boards. Maybe they have a radius that, hey, put one here, hopscotch them across.
I think
As well
once
as
y'all,
code red.
once y'all determine how many you want for the city, it's gonna be easy to find out what the vendor's gonna charge per unit, so.
Yes, sir.
And then what they recommend as far as coverage.
That's the key is the coverage area. Yes,
And
sir.
maybe getting it near the biggest park, either.
Yeah.
Either Drake's
Drake's
Creek
Creek
or
or-
Veterans.
And even Saunders Ferry. Well, if you're at Lakeside Park Hill, Saunders Ferry would hear.
Yeah, that would cover
I
it.
mean, you'd be standing up on the hill,
I'm just thinking about the soccer fields.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Oh,
'Cause if
definitely.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're at, like I said, Veterans or Drake's Creek, Veterans or Volunteer Park Arrowhead would hear it as well because it's close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder who could do a study to determine how many we need and where they should be. That'd be something internal, I mean,
I
I
would
assume the
s-
vendors,
I would say a vendor would probably be willing to.
they'll probably say, they'll probably suggest more. And
Well,
that-
I don't,
different
that's
scenarios.
just it. I don't want a biased opinion from a
Right.
vendor. I would
Maybe we
rather,
go to Metro and ask them, Goodsville and ask them since they have them and say.
Yeah.
Exactly where your siren's
Right.
located at, what's the radius and what's the distance between your sirens. for the
Right.
Coverage of your area.
Or the vendor could do different scenarios, maybe.
Mhm.
On an average, what about MTS? I wonder if they'd be
Yeah.
able to do something like that. They did a fire station study.
That's a good idea.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
they did a what study?
Fire
Fall
stations.
Oh,
For Station 7 and
that's a good
8,
idea.
Yeah, they said build this one first and then build that
because
one.
we
next.
rode out with them.
Yeah.
Doing all the times. and
They're the ones that actually
distances.
said, this is the one you need to build now. and then this
Correct.
is the one
Yes,
you
sir.
need to
That's
build. Yes,
correct.
sir. Then I started having a conversation with this gentleman here about building a new police station too the other day. I said, realize we don't need to build it today, but in the next 10 years, we are going to need to build one. We need to start having those conversations now, moving forward.
That's in our 10-year plan.
Well, I'm on your 10-year plan. I might not be here, but I'm with
It's
you
a
on it.
perfect location. It's the perfect location. I won't be here either 10 years.
What I'm
But
just saying,
But the perfect location is over there by the senior citizens.
the,
Yeah,
the
yes, sir, the
old
Hawkins
school,
property, yes,
The
sir.
old school.
That's what I was calling the safety campus.
That's
at that
perfect
time.
right there.
All
that's
right.
gonna be smaller than what you have now, isn't
I don't
it? The
think so.
landmarks?
That's what I suggest, to build it right where it's at now.
Yeah,
Front
and
of
we've
it.
had that, and that's something we need to work out, those details.
I can work that out for you. You can go to 313 East Main for a year and a half, but you can go to the Beatty House. and for
Let me back.
Let's go on and put it on the Hawkins property.
Well, how about
Maybe the
we,
Public Works
how about if we
building.
start those discussions and work it out and figure it out, because we don't want to get in a position where it's a rush. Where, hey, you got a 10-year plan, at 8 years, we need to pick the spot, it's right here.
Yeah, I think,
Now we need to figure out the funding
I
and the
don't remember
footprint, and how I
the
like it.
year, but I think it was either the 5th or 6th year of that plan,
Yes, sir.
we would start doing a study.
Okay. We're on the same page, so.
Good deal.
Because, Assistant Chief Jones and I had that conversation, I guess, a month ago, or just a few weeks ago, so yes, sir.
Build him a nice office when you do.
It should be nice for everyone, hopefully.
I'll put a lap full in for you.
All right, so we've got, just gonna, right now, we just recommend looking at a study to verify how many sirens we possibly would need, location of those sirens and the cost, basically.
And reach out to MTS.
MTS to do that, and then possibly a city of Gillisville or Davidson County to find out what type of study they might have done to come up with those same
Right,
locations.
and who their vendors were,
Yes, sir.
vendor was.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
that's
Tim
a good
Ellis
idea.
over there is
And
great
what
to work
worked.
with.
Right.
Tim Ellis,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir. All right, we don't need to vote on this, I don't think. I just
No,
think
it's
this
just
is a recommendation. Yes, sir.
And then don't forget the information from Chief Bush. I have no idea. what-
Oh, yes, sir, we will.
If there's any
Yeah, we will.
questions that could ought to be answered in that.
We are. We're gonna look at that too. I'm just out of pocket today, and I glanced at my emails for a moment, but I did not have time to go through the whole
Busy
thing.
man, but I know, I
I
get
was
you.
in Copeland coming back here, so,
Oh,
But
you
anyway,
were in Cookville.
yes,
I thought you said Jesse came from
No, I
Cookville.
was
That's
in
why I
Cookville.
was all confused.
I was here and
I'm
there,
gonna
and
tell
Nashville and
Jesse,
here, so.
so.
Anyways, we're also gonna have a discussion of Code Red and how the signups have gone and the effectiveness of that, and what we need to do to increase the reach of Code Red for our area and our constituents and citizens here in Hendersonville.
You want me to leave?
Assistant Chief Holt. Would you like to have that conversation
Well,
started?
Of course, the police department did it as well, so I have
Yes,
no idea
sir.
about their
Well, y'all can
numbers. So
take turns. We're
We
good.
didn't, we didn't.
mine's gonna be really easy.
Yes, sir.
Oh, boy.
May 1st, we were at Station 2 and Station 6, from 0800 to 12 o'clock. We had 0 signups.
Okay.
Wow.
May 8th, we were at Station 1 and 3. We was trying to get on both sides of the city. Again, from 0800 to 12 o'clock, and we had 0 signups.
What was the first two stations, 2 and 1?
2 and 6, Winston Hills and Free Hill.
So you were really spread out.
We were, and then May 8th, we were at Luna Lane and Bonita. And as a matter of fact, we actually lost one because somebody came in mad still about the wreck, the fatality wreck on 386, and asked to be taken off of it.
What we
I'm
try
with
to
you.
explain
One
to
person.
people
I know.
is you can opt out of
Yes.
certain
I know that.
notifications. So we try to explain that to them.
Yes, sir.
If all you want is
Yes.
weather, you can get
It's
only
easy.
weather.
That's right.
If you want weather and amber alerts, you can get that. If you want weather, amber alerts and traffic, but you have to decide under your login what you want and you know what you don't want. And I got asked about that. I can tell you the reason we sent that code red out is because it was a fatality crash. They knew they were going to be on scene and traffic was going to be tied up for an extensive period of time. It was going to get into affecting rush hour traffic.
Yes.
So they wanted people who were trying to travel to Nashville or travel, on the bypass to get there to be aware of that, to try to pick an alternate route or leave earlier. And so, that was the question is, why'd y'all send that out? Well, here's why. And we're trying to give people, ample warning that there's gonna be a serious traffic problem in that area. So,
And I appreciate that. I mean, I have it all on my phone. I get it right. It all. I want it all. I mean, I've been in Florida and received, there's a thunderstorm at
Right.
192 Rebecca Drive. Said, hey, I need to call, check on the house. Tornado warning. for
put up
your
my
area.
ring cameras here.
Yeah, what's going on?
I don't think we're gonna have a whole lot of increase in people signing up for that. I think the people that wanted it.
Yep.
Signed up for it initially,
Yes.
and the other people took care of it.
About the only ones that are signing up for now, it seems like as newer people
People
move into the
that's
area. But the people that already live here that didn't sign up previously, they don't want any part of that.
Yeah. And on that particular notification, the only feedback I got about was that there wasn't a notification sent out saying, hey, it's cleared.
It's clear.
So folks are diverting on Gallatin Road. And, I mean, it's just like, we didn't get ample notice that Imperial was getting milled on Monday morning. And I got, some pretty angry phone calls at 7:30.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I use Weather Shield too, and it's an app that just comes to me. I mean, it's radar, it's free. And wherever I'm at, I just pull it up right here. The storm's coming. I look out, so okay, now put it in motion, make it play it. I mean, it gives me alerts as well. It'll tell me, hey, thunderstorms and all that, but it's Storm Shield. And you can upgrade it if you want to, but I'm fine with what I got.
One of the comments I heard is somebody said they get used to code red going off, so they don't pay attention to it. And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute.
yeah, that's on
Sometimes
there.
you gotta take some personal responsibility there. And again, if and what we've tried to tell people is if it's going off too much, if it's annoying you, then take off only what you feel is most important. If you're not concerned about the traffic alerts or, other alerts, then only keep the weather alerts, and you're gonna know if that goes off, it's about a weather event close to your residential area or wherever you can sign up for it at your business. But wherever it goes off at, that's where you're gonna know there's a weather event. So I don't know if it's, they just don't take the time to take the alerts off that they don't want, or, but again.
Well, you
when I-
get them, even if it's just this heavy storm, and you get them at 2, at the other point, 2, 2:30, and 3 o'clock. And so, that's interrupting somebody's sleeping, so that's why they don't want
It's a choice.
Right.
I mean, I tried to share it on social media. I sent it to the Manscore Farms group. I don't know if a lot of people signed up because of that. I don't know. Just wondering how we could get it out to new residents that move in. That might be the target audience.
it. Why not?
If there's something with the chamber that, I don't know, don't they send out something to
And
new
that's what I thought,
residents?
like, welcome wagon or something like
Yeah,
that.
don't they
used to
send
do,
it-
Yeah.
Like
I'm
maybe
not
a
sure.
card
Yeah.
with that.
It'd be nice to have it in there because it's good information for our area. We provide it.
Well, if we could get
You-
the
y'all-
chamber,
We can send it to property tax.
That's what I
bills,
was
you know, I
wondering.
mean,
Yeah, that's a great idea.
it costs a little bit to spend, and the more notices we send out, but we can always add something if a little slip in the bills.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
That's
you
a
know,
good
water
idea.
company, that's something.
Yeah, I was about to say water, electric, some of those
Maybe they would,
places.
they would agree to drop it in if we furnish the slip.
Yeah. Yes, sir. That might be an idea too.
or if the chamber would encourage their members that are real estate agents to hand out something if they do sell a home in this area.
Get to the-
Yeah,
or there's
we're gonna
the-
sell you this house, but we have a lot of tornadoes here.
Yeah. After the sale.
Told you to have.
Yeah.
And
Don't
it's
mind
not
across the street,
flooding.
that roof's gone. That was
You
good.
You only do that
By
just at closing.
Yeah,
You do that at closing.
the way, this is tornado alley.
And flooding, or
And
at least
flooding,
ours, yeah, slowly sinking,
Yeah.
turning into a swamp. It's all good.
You know, those tornadoes were always coming through here, but it wasn't as populated. And that's why I think more gets hit now, especially, you know, that one bad one
Yes, sir.
several years ago, went through Gallatin and, you know, killed a couple people. None of that was populated back then. It was
Sure, it was just
farmland.
woods. Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, you might be missing a cow. but
Or a
that's-
bar.
yeah,
Like that's my.
yeah.
It's a good point.
Well, there is the Sumner Realtors Association.
We could reach out to those type of groups and ask them if they would mind making a push for code red for
Right.
safety in the area.
I wonder if we could just bring a bunch of cards to them and to give out. I don't know.
Lay them at the real estate offices in town. Drop them off.
All the different realtors.
Yep.
All the- Maybe.
Off all the different companies.
You know, we tell them at community meetings when we have those, of course, we haven't had none for quite a while because of COVID, but Paul used to be over our special operations. That's what Larry's over now. And so he would always help people because some of the older people, you know, they don't know how to sign up for that. So
Sure.
like me, you know, I had to get Paul to sign me up. So the thing about it is we don't mind doing that. If we get it out to people and say, hey, if you don't know how to sign up for it, come to the police department, we'll get somebody to sign you up for that. I mean, that's what we try to tell them when we're going out on these things with y'all. But, you know, the ones that are coming just don't want it, you know.
That's correct. We've got one more, May 15th, us and PD as well. We're gonna still at 0800 to 12. We're gonna get Station 4, Indian Lake Road, there by Indian Lake Elementary, and then Station 5, 4th Street by the hospital. And Chief Bush has also talked to Andy Gilly about after the 15th, trying to get in there and get his parks, finding some good local tournaments. Don't really want the ones where they're coming from Ohio or whatever.
Memorial Day Classic.
And just get down to the park and maybe trying to get that going.
Golf course, be another
I'll
place.
be
Yes, sir.
UTV.
Yeah, the Memorial Day Classic, that's, you know, Memorial Day weekend, we have a softball tournament there. Park, so.
So that was another way we were trying to extend our influence.
I really don't think, I think we've done our due diligence, from the city aspect. I think adding it to the taxes annually, that's a great idea. And then it's really gonna become a community effort at that point. Sometimes just not gonna sign.
Yeah, there's not.
But they also ask, why don't we have signs? Yeah, they turn right around and ask, that's why.
And I'll guarantee you, when one of them goes off at 2 o'clock in the morning, they're gonna be raising cane.
You know, I
It
was a
doesn't matter
kid.
what we
it's
do,
true.
chief, they're gonna raise the
Yeah.
cane.
True.
But
I
people that have
recall the
weather
civil
radios-
defense siren going off at 2 o'clock in the morning when I was
weather
about 10
radios
years
are
old.
code red.
And everybody walking outside thought we were being nuclear, on having a atomic bomb, dropped on us. Everybody's outside looking up, hey, what's coming?
Right in the middle of the Cold War, we're.
Exactly right.
The
Because it
Russians
was
are
back in the 70s.
Yeah.
The defense sirens go off. Everybody wake you up at 2 o'clock in the morning. Hey, you're supposed to go to the elementary school. Nobody did.
So I was in school when the Cuban Missile Crisis was going on. They used to make us go into the cafeteria and hide under the table.
Yes, sir. Cover your head. Yeah.
And they bought us all dog tags, little kids.
Oh, wow.
Gosh.
That's,
Well, that's an
wow.
interesting, my dog tags.
Maybe we ought to buy everybody dog.
This is for code red, part of the process. If you would please wear this at all
Yeah,
times.
so we can identify you once you're dead.
Yeah, so write it on, write it on your name, belly, arm, what's something.
If you don't sign up for Code Red, you're gonna need a doctor.
That's right. Any other discussions related to Code Red? I would like to mention one thing. I've talked to a few people recently regarding, and we've talked about it here, streetlights, just for neighborhood safety, lighting up in the streets. I know we put them at the beginning of a street, cul-de-sacs, and where streets intersect at. But I've had requests for streetlights along roadways that the, some elderly folks live on. They would like to start seeing a few more streetlights being added up into their neighborhood, just for safety, for lighting up the area at night. Or, since they're elder, they would like to feel a little bit more safe in their homes.
Well, we've had lights out on Rockland Road for how long now? I don't know if you drive it at
I
night,
do,
but it's out from
pitch black.
Church of Christ, it's out from River Road. I believe, I hope it's gonna go through traffic study. I sent it to Sarah and I know she's diligent, but we need reflectors on that road.
Yes,
That road is way too dark.
Are you saying some of your streetlights are out?
Yeah, they've been out for months. I turned them in.
That will give a call to Jamie.
Okay.
He's our community coordinator, and so we had always let them reach out and put a little more pressure if when streetlights are out,
sure.
And they've done it sometimes, and sometimes they haven't.
Okay.
Thank you.
Depends on the
You guys
mood
should
they're
be
in.
doing that. Public Works should be doing
That's
that.
what a community affairs officer's about, so he does everything.
I mean, we don't mind calling
That's good to
it
know.
yes and trying to twist their arm a little bit. But sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't.
Rockland is really dark and
It is.
so, I just worry about some of the older folks. I mean, reflectors we striped it 18 months ago.
Yeah, and it already needs to be
Restriped
restriped
it. You
again.
can't see the stripes.
Because we
that's
were
in
using
there.
a low grade paint at that time. I asked Marshall if he would get the best paint he possibly could find for reflective striping of roads, because like you said, 18 months, it's not, you can't even tell it's been done.
Should just put reflectors.
And
down, just be
we also
general
named that
about
Saunders Ferry.
Yeah.
Right there where the lake is on both sides of the 5-story high rise. Just go down through there, but extremely narrow, and the curve down at Creekwood Marina. Could really use some reflectors right there. It's dangerous spots. I can tell right up here.
Well, center point's dangerous. I don't know if there are.
Yes,
Probably some reflectors,
and some more striping as well.
that big turn.
Yes, sir.
That's up.
Anyone else have anything for this meeting today? I think we've covered everything, plus a couple of extra items here. Now I'd like to accept the motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Motion's probably been made properly and seconded. All in favor of adjourning, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion to adjourn. Thank you.
All right.
Save a bottle of water on the way home.
Listen up to
And I've been meaning to get.
Call everybody.
Yeah.
Voice
We'll
vote.
start
see
taking
here.
5 minutes here and there.
You got,
What days?
Tell us what you do.
Yeah, second question.
It's
Man,
hard
I've
to
been-
do.
like
Did
this day,
you fix it?
I was hoping to-
Battery needs to be
Mine
replaced, right?